Germany's history is truly unique. While nations like France, England, or Spain had been under central rule for centuries, the territory of Germany remained a mosaic of independent states, kingdoms, and principalities for much of its past. While other countries were already sailing the world and establishing colonies on every continent, the various German states were embroiled in disputes over succession and seemingly worthless land. It wasn't until the year 1873 that Germany finally united under one banner. But why was Germany such a patchwork of states? Why did Germany unite so much later than other countries? And what are the effects of this today? We will explore all these questions in today's video. Enjoy! A common precursor to Germany is often considered to be the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation. However, this was very different from states like France or Great Britain. For one, it had a highly decentralized power structure. Authority was distributed among a multitude of princes, dukes, bishops, and other local rulers who largely governed their territories autonomously. There was no strong central government or administration that ruled the entire empire effectively. The emperor held significant symbolic and, to some extent, political power, but his authority was limited, especially in relation to the more powerful princes and electors. As a result, there was a wide array of laws and legal systems within the empire. Each territory had its own legal order, and there was no unified legal framework for the entire empire. Thus, the empire was made up of a multitude of semi-autonomous entities united under a loose political structure. These entities had no unified government, army, or even foreign policies. As a result, the various units often became pawns in the interests of external powers. The political landscape of Europe, especially the balance of power between France, the Habsburg Empire, and others, greatly influenced the politics of the Holy Roman Empire. There were frequent conflicts between the various kingdoms and duchies. Additionally, the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation encompassed numerous other ethnicities and peoples, often with completely different languages, making it difficult for a sense of unity to emerge. But why was Germany such a large patchwork in the first place? One reason is that the feudal system of the Middle Ages was particularly pronounced in Germany. Land ownership and political power were closely linked, and there were an especially large number of feudal lords in Germany. These rulers, whether dukes, counts, or bishops, had significant autonomy in their territories. They ruled like small monarchs, had their own laws, levied taxes, and maintained their own armies. The geographical features of Central Europe, with its many rivers, mountains, and forests, favored the formation of these small, isolated communities and made central governance more difficult. As a result, the emperors of the Holy Roman Empire were unable to establish a comparable central authority. Additionally, the practice of dividing territories among a ruler's heirs further fragmented the region. Instead of an entire kingdom or principality being passed to a single heir, it was often split among multiple heirs, leading to the creation of new, smaller realms. But other states also had a variety of small kingdoms for a long time. How did they manage to unite so early? Here, geography played a central role once again. Both France and Great Britain benefited from relatively well-defined geographical boundaries. France with its natural borders like the Pyrenees, the Alps, and the Rhine, and Great Britain as an island nation, of course. These borders made it easier to establish central rule and reduce the complexity of governing a geographically fragmented territory. For the Holy Roman Empire, there were no well-defined borders for a long time, as it was situated between various empires, each exerting its influence on different kingdoms. In France and Great Britain, strong central authority emerged relatively early. In France, this began with the rise of the Frankish kingdom, with clear dynasties like the Carolingians and Carpathians. In England, the Norman conquest of 1066 solidified central rule and led to the introduction of an effective administrative system. Moreover, in these other countries, a strong sense of national identity developed relatively early, often fostered by wars. Confrontation with external threats played a crucial role in fostering internal unity. In France, wars against England, especially the 100 Years' War, promoted a strong national consciousness. In England, the fear of invasion and, similarly, the 100 Years' War against France contributed to the formation of a unified national identity. In Spain, the individual kingdoms united to fight against the Muslim Moors and to reclaim the entire peninsula. Germany, however, lacked such an external enemy to unite its kingdoms for a long time. It wasn't until Bismarck provoked the war against France that this was achieved. For much of its history, the German states fought each other. During the Napoleonic Wars, for example, the southern German states allied with France, while Prussia fought alongside Russia and Austria. The most striking war that demonstrates the disunity within the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation is probably the 30 Years' War, during which present-day Germany was reduced to ruins. Here, we also see another reason why a quick unification was unlikely. In the Middle Ages and early modern period, religion played a central role. However, the Reformation, which began in the 16th century with Martin Luther in Germany, led to a deep religious division. Germany became the center of this conflict, with numerous principalities and free cities aligning either with Protestantism or Catholicism. While countries like France or Spain were clearly Catholic, and Great Britain Anglican, Germany was once again a patchwork. This religious divide also significantly contributed to the political fragmentation of the Holy Roman Empire. It wasn't until the Napoleonic Wars in the early 19th century that the German states began to slowly draw closer. The Holy Roman Empire of the German nation was dissolved by Napoleon, and although the German states initially fought on different sides, they were ultimately united in their dissatisfaction with foreign rule. French rule and the burdens it imposed created a common enemy for the Germans. This led to the Wars of Liberation, and for the first time, the concept of a German nation began to take shape in people's minds. Additionally, the early 19th century marked the beginning of the Romantic movement and the rise of nationalism across Europe. Poets and artists like Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, Friedrich Schiller, and Caspar David Friedrich shaped a deep emotional connection with the German landscape and culture through their works. Thus, in 1844 and 1845, there was the first national revolution. Although it initially failed, it laid the groundwork for later unification. One man played a particularly central role: Otto von Bismarck. In 1864, he succeeded in uniting all German-speaking territories against an external enemy for the first time in the German-Danish War, positioning Prussia as the leading power. 2 years later, in the Austro-Prussian War, also known as the German-German War, he weakened Austria, ensuring it would no longer play a role in German affairs in the future. The North German Confederation was formed, and Bismarck was then able to take his final step: the Franco-Prussian War. Although some southern German states were still divided, he ultimately succeeded in uniting them all under one banner. After the victory over France, the German Empire was finally established in 1871. This late unification is also why Germany remains so federally organized today. While a centralized form of government developed over centuries in France, Germany was simply not organized in a unified way for most of its history. To address this, the individual federal states still have considerable power today and can act autonomously in many areas, such as education or the police. The federal structure is firmly anchored in the Basic Law. This reflects Germany's historical development, in which the individual states wanted to preserve their sovereignty within a united Germany. This is also why, in addition to the Bundestag, we have the Bundesrat, which consists of state governments and ensures that the interests of the states are considered at the federal level.